What is going on, everybody? Welcome in on YouTube and on Twitter. Doing a live Q&A for this Wolves and Lakers series. Preparing for my film breakdown. I've been watching a lot of film over the past several hours. Already got some people pulling up on the YouTube side. Do me a big favor, guys. Hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. Let's see if we can get 200 likes on the stream. We'll be here as long as possible. Should have got some water before this, but we'll be all right. Super chats for anybody rolling in if throughout the night. Super chats guaranteed way to make sure you guys get your question answered live on the air. But also for my YouTubers as well, joining in. I put a poll up. Who wins the series? I had to include every option technically. So Lakers in 4 or 5, Lakers in 6 or 7, Wolves in 4 or 5, or Wolves in 6 or 7. And I mean, it's a Lakers stream, so I highly doubt anybody will be picking the Wolves winning this series. But maybe we'll get a couple Timberwolves fans in here. Like I said, I'm doing a film breakdown tomorrow. They'll drop on the channel, so I'll probably be going like straight from this to recording my film breakdown. My pre-series, or like my pre-film watch thoughts, or I guess really just my rough reaction, my initial reaction for this series was Lakers in 6. I thought Minnesota did a lot of stuff that could really give the Lakers some trouble. And I'm not even going to all the way backtrack from that. I think Minnesota is actually really good. I think Minnesota right now, I would say, is the 4th. No, they're probably the 5th best team in the West. I think OKC is better. I think the Lakers are better. The Clippers are better. A Golden State, I probably would prefer. I would probably say is better than Minnesota. But like Minnesota's one of the 5 best teams in the West. I think Minnesota currently is better than Denver. I think they're better than Houston. And maybe I'm not giving Houston enough credit, but I think there's, better than Houston. I think they're better than whoever ends up as the 8 seed, so like Memphis or Dallas or Sacramento. And I think they're actually better than I don't think they're that far off even from the Warriors, who I say is probably like my 4th best team in the West. So my initial reaction was Lakers in 6. I was a little bit worried about a couple different things, and I talked about that in my episode with Jovan. Go check that out. Really fun conversation. We dove into all the ins and outs, the X factors, the series determining factors, etc. Had a blast with Jovan. We did a bunch of different stuff there. One of the things I talked about was the Lakers, like, can they, when they go smaller, will they play their centerless lineups? Are they able to kind of maintain, their side of the bargain on the defensive glass? Minnesota's a really good offensive rebounding team, especially Rudy Gobert on the floor. And essentially, if the Lakers are able to rebound, I still feel this way. It's actually probably the biggest thing that I think could just sway the series and make me even more confident in what my pick is. If the Lakers can go smaller and still hold up on the defensive glass and keep the Rudy lineups off the offensive glass and not allow them to get second chance opportunities, then I think the Lakers pretty easily win this series in 5. Like, yeah, I feel really good about that. I'm going to change my pick from Lakers in 6 to Lakers in 5. And I'll explain that in a little bit, but get your questions and comments in the chat. Let's go. Let's have a fun time here. Leave a like. Let's get a like spike here really fast. And as always, again, if you're on the YouTube side, then do me a favor and vote on that poll right there. Right now, a lot of you, Ice Cold Ace says, Lakers in 4. F it. Lakers in 4. I think Ant's good enough to get him a game. This is why I love watching film or whatever. You grow a deeper appreciation for some of these guys. Like, I liked Ant a lot. I thought Ant was really good already. You watch some of the film on Ant from this season, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's really good. Ant's having an amazing series. And then on top of that, if Ant turns back into being like the 50% mid-range scorer he was in the playoffs last season, then he's just one like the 5 toughest players to scheme for in the entire league. And the only players I would like put above him would be Jokic, Luka still because of the playmaking. Jokic, Luka, Giannis. Those would be the only players in the league that I would for sure put above Ant in terms of toughest players to game plan for if like the playoff mid-range spike that he normally takes is legit. Only 3 players: Jokic, Luka, Giannis. The Bron fans are gonna hate that, but Bron just does have the burst to consistently. So yeah. Lakers at 5, unless McDaniels finds his shot again. What it do, Sean? What it do, Art of War? Doing a Q&A, guys. Any super chats, greatly appreciated. Guaranteed to get your question answered live on the air and also directly supports me and the channel. But we'll get to a lot of the questions throughout the night. Hit that like button, guys. Trying to hit 200 likes on the stream. No Shea. I would argue Ant is a little bit tougher to game plan for than Shea. I would argue. If the like mid-range playoff leap is consistent, I would argue Ant's tougher to game plan for than Shea. Because of the ridiculously explosive first step, because of the mid-range scoring that we already talked about, and the fact that he's like a 40% pull-up three-point shooter, and also a really, really, really good off-ball scorer. Ant doesn't get enough credit as a scorer, man. I know, like, this is a Lakers stream. I've really, really come away from this film like that I've done, and I'm like, yeah, knew Ant was good, but he's really, really good. Who do I think, or do I think Mike Conley gets played off the floor quickly? So that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm like really confident in LA winning the series, regardless of how many games it goes, is because I look at Minnesota and there isn't like, at least in their base lineup, there isn't a matchup I feel good about for Minnesota. Okay, Rudy Gobert guards Jackson Hayes. For starters, first off, if LA just downsizes immediately, now we haven't even, like, it's an issue already. But besides the point, okay? So just in their base starting 5s, Rudy's on Hayes. That's probably the clear-cut option. Okay, so now, okay, do you put Julius Randle on? You know, this is actually something I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota does, actually. This is the one idea I kind of just came up with tentatively, is that they go Randle on Hayes. No, never mind. Because Rudy's been sniping from 3. So you see the problem that I think they're going to run into. So Gobert on Hayes. Do you put Randle on Rui? Or Randle on Braun? Let's just say it's Randle on Braun. You put Randle on Braun. Okay, so now we are Jaden McDaniels, Mike Conley, and Ant. Okay, so I would assume Jaden McDaniels guards Braun, but that's the problem. Like, I think I put a tweet out, Rui, McDaniels on Rui or Rui on McDaniels. I think Rui's going to guard Ant. Rui or Austin. I would actually almost expect Luka to guard McDaniels, actually. I think Luka's going to guard McDaniels. Anywho, I made a tweet, and somebody basically asked me a question that said, Sean, who do you think are the 3 best Luka defenders in the playoffs? And I said, that's a really good question. And the amount of comments I saw that said J-Mac, like, I don't think Jay McDaniels is a good Luka defender. I don't. I think Jay McDaniels, will they go to him eventually? Yeah, out of necessity, but I don't think he's a good Luka defender. I don't think he's a great, yeah. So I think they put J-Mac on either Braun or on Austin. Okay, cool. So let's just say they put Jaden McDaniels on Austin. Okay, so now we're leaving like Conley and Ant. So, and that's why I think Ant's gonna guard Austin. I think Jaden McDaniels gonna guard Braun, and I think Mike Conley's gonna guard Rui. But then that's just where Rui gets to mismatch. How you get to, run some ball screen actions with Rui as the screener, pick and pop. There's just a lot of different ways this could go wrong for Minnesota, and it really just starts off with it being that they don't have a good Luka option. That is the biggest thing. They do not have a good Luka option. And I think that's good. That's one of the biggest issues for Minnesota in this series. I think Lu Dort is very overrated Luka defender. I think Jalen Brown and Caruso have been proven to be the best Luka defenders. I think Dort in general just isn't well liked. I think Dort's a fine Luka defender. I think Lu Dort's a better Luka defender than I keep wanting to say Jordan than Jaden McDaniels. I think he's a better Luka defender than Jaden. Kawhi, in theory, could be a good one. Dylan Brooks wouldn't be a bad one, I would imagine. Like, again, in theory. Sean, who is more likely to get played off the floor, Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert? This might be a hot take. I honestly think that Julius Randle is more likely to get played off the floor than Rudy. I really think so. Because I think Rudy is so... Well, this can go one of two ways. I think Rudy is so important to their rim protection and their rim defense. And he's also equally as important and vital to their offensive rebounding ability and be able to create second chance opportunities, that I think that they would rather have Randle get played off the floor. Kawhi, Wi-Fi, electrify, Lakers in 5. I mean, we're not playing the Clippers, so that defeats the purpose. Now, at the same time, I do think there's a world where Minnesota goes, look, we can't guard them, so let's just try to outgun them and go, and they take Rudy off the floor and they go all offense, and you go like Randle, Nas, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dante, and Ant. But, you know, I just, again, you're now eliminating two of the best qualities about your team. I think with Rudy on the floor, this is a really, really good offensive rebounding team. With no Rudy on the floor, I think they lose two of their more important strengths, and two of their more important strengths that they can attack the Lakers with. Hit that like button, guys. Get a like spike. Get some more people in here. Do me a big favor and hit that like button and turn on post notification bells as well so you don't miss the film breakdown tomorrow. You know the playing game is ass when we are watching a live stream over the game. Hey, it's a Lakers live stream at the very least. Hit that like button, guys. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about? Where should we kind of start things off? Who's the Timberwolves' second best defender? Perimeter defender, I'm assuming. The second best perimeter defender is Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I will go like Jaden, Ant, Dante, probably. And then if we're going like team defender in general, then it's Rudy, and then honestly probably the same order. I think Dante's probably better than Ant as a team defender. Ant's not a good team defender. So that's probably how I would do it. How do I compare? I like this question. How do I compare this Lakers squad with last year's Mavs? Last year's Mavs team, I think, just had way better anchoring defensive bigs. I think last year, like with Lively and with Gafford, they were just able to anchor and play drop pretty consistently and just have a really, really good rim protecting big on the floor for 48 minutes. Well, the Lakers don't have that. I think they also had a legitimate lob threat for 48 minutes, which the Lakers don't have. They don't have that lob threat presence for 48 minutes like Dallas had. Now, I don't think LA needs that to be successful, as we've seen. I think So Dallas had a vertical floor space. So the Lakers' floor spacing is just perimeter shooters and guys that can play off the catch. And that's how Rudy would get play off the floor. It would be because I think when people talk about Rudy get play off the floor, I think they kind of honestly mix it up a little bit. I think Rudy's going to get play off the floor, not because he can't play drop. It's going to be because when the Lakers go small, they're going to want Rudy to be on the baseline and try to help out the rim. So it's either Rudy, you have to come over and help at the rim, and we have to rotate in the back line unnecessarily, and DFS hits an open 3. Rudy hits an open 3. Austin, Gabe, etc. It's either that or it's, okay, I'm staying home on these guys because they're 40% catch and shoot threats, and this is my only way of staying on the floor. So if I'm guarding one of these guys, then, okay, Luka blow by layup at the rim because I keep saying Jordan, because Jaden and Na aren't big enough to guard Luka. LeBron game blow-bys at the rim. So That's how Rudy would get played off the floor. It's because of the perimeter spacing and the perimeter gravity that the Lakers have. It's not the vertical spacing and gravity that Dallas had. LA has way more functional playmaking than Dallas did. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Luka, Bron, AR is better than Luka, Kyrie, and who would be that team's third best playmaker? Is like low-key PJ Washington. Am I sleeping on somebody? So you guys get my point. If we're like in a PJ Washington talks, that's kind of ridiculous. And then I think with Dallas last season, I think Dallas was a little bit more consistent with their team defense. They were way better, I think, with their consistency, and they ramped it up in the playoffs. Their team defense was awesome. Despite what I think some of the media will tell you, they had a really, really good playoff defense. I think there's some similarities too there. There's some similarities too, with the two teams. Rudy is an overrated big. Yeah, but no. Like, I think one area where Rudy's actually kind of underrated at is being a switchable big. Not saying he's good at it, but he's not awful. I think he just got fried by Luka, by the best on-ball player on the planet last season. He's got fried in space by Luka. I will say that. I do think I think Rudy's weakness defensively is more like lateral rotations or recovery in terms of I am at the rim and now I have to laterally rotate back out to a corner three-point shooter. I think that might be a weakness of Rudy. But he's an elite drop big, still an elite rim protector. I think Rudy plays the cat and mouse game out of drop better than almost anybody. Like, I think it's AD, maybe Wemby at this point, and then him, and he might actually still have Wemby in terms of the recovery speed to be able to play the cat mouse out of drop. So I think in some ways, Rudy's almost a little underrated. But like I said, in this series, with the perimeter floor spacing that the Lakers offer, I think the Lakers will just be able to space them out and attack some of the weaknesses. Like, one of the games I watched that I gathered a lot from was the most recent Pacers-Wolves game. Pacers, I probably can honestly say a similar thing about Boston. I just haven't watched that, so I would go watch that Boston-Wolves game too, if what my theory is correct. Indiana is going to play a lot of 5-out. They have a pick-and-pop big in Miles Turner, and then they have 4 other perimeter options. They have, obviously, Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith is a shooting option. Benedict Mathurin, if he's in for Aaron Nesmith. Pascal's their second leading scorer. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin. They have a lot of guys on that team that can space the floor. And even though Miles Turner didn't burn them, the amount of quality looks that Indiana got off of Halliburton and Miles Turner pick and pops, or Halliburton, Obi Toppin pick and pops, or okay, Rudy's guarding Miles Turner on the far side corner, and we go 1-4 pick and roll with Howley and Pascal on the empty side. Pascal gets to attack a switch, and Rudy has to make a decision. Do I help off Miles Turner, or do I stay and let us play one-on-one at the rim? That is something that really, really matters to me, because when you look at this matchup, when you look at the Lakers sizing down and going with their depth lineup, which is Bron, Luka, AR, Rui, DFS, which is like a plus 18. Is he like a plus 18 or a plus 22? And I appreciate the super chat. We'll get to that in just one sec. I want to really quickly make sure I have this correct on the Lakers depth lineup. Since the All-Star break, or since the Luka trade being completed. Since the Luka trade being completed, the lineup of Dorian Finney-Smith, Bron, Rui, Luka, and AR is a plus 23, scoring 133 points per possession. They're shooting 41.5% from three. That group is shooting 42 threes per 100 possessions, and they're shooting 67% from two. Oh my God. So that's like the nightmare scenario if I'm Minnesota. It's we're getting spaced out and it's one-on-one opportunities at the rim because Rudy doesn't want to help off of Rui or DFS. I think the Lakers will just drag whichever one of them is being guarded by Rudy into the action and go pick and pop. So fire off your questions in the comments. Zach Levine is selling right now. The fries, put the fries in the bag, bro. I think the Lakers don't deviate from their schemes. They'll be fine. I agree. I think the Lakers have the tactical advantage in this series because going into the series, they immediately are forcing an adjustment for the Timberwolves and potentially forcing the Timberwolves to get out of character and having to do something they don't want to do. Because the Timberwolves day one have to figure out, okay, what do we do with Luka? We don't have a great Luka option. Or do we want to play drop with Luka? Like they have the problem off rip. Whereas with the Lakers, I think, okay, they have problems to address for as well with how they want to guard Ant. You're going to have to address the Julius Randle mismatch hunting and switch hunting and post up opportunities. Although I was watching some Julius Randle film, and I'm not gonna lie, in a playoff series, I'm not really impressed. I think Julius is a really good 82 game player, and this could completely backfire. I think Julius Randle has too many easy tendencies to pick up on in terms of where he wants to get his shot at. If he does mismatch hunt, if he does post you up, okay. If he's on the left baseline, if he spins to go baseline, he really wants to go. He might drop step, get to the left hand at the rim on his left side. If he keeps going towards the middle of the floor, it's going to be the bump fade in the middle of the floor and kind of just flip it on the right side of the floor. Right side, if he's going middle, trying to get all the way to the rim with the left. If not, drop step, fade. Julius Randle's post-up bag or just mismatch hunting bag in general is pretty, it's easy to pick up on. And, easy to pick up on tendencies in a series against LeBron James is something that doesn't typically go well for you. And I don't think he's a high-level processor either. So I'm saying all that to say I think the Lakers are in control. I think the Lakers are in control, and they get to set the tone. And another key thing that Minnesota's going to have to adjust to pretty early is, do we go big or do we go small? Where LA is like, look, we're going to do what we do regardless. And part of that is I don't think LA has another option. I don't think LA can go big in air quotes. They don't have that. But more importantly, their version of big is just their starting five, honestly. With Hayes on the floor. That's them going big. Where Minnesota is, do we go double bigs? Do we go like Nas and Rudy? Do we bench Ray? There's so many other possibilities for Minnesota they have to figure out. I think that's an advantage for the Lakers pretty early in the series. Who do I think will be the standout role player in this series? For the Lakers, I think the Lakers want the series to be relatively quick. I think it's going to be Rui. I think Rui playing really, really well in this series is another way this series just ends in 5 games, where Rui plays really, really well, and he's going to get a lot of minutes guarding Ant. Now, granted, I think the Lakers view their point of attack defense as team defense, and they're willing to, help and zone up away from the ball a ton. So I think Rui's ability to check to a certain extent Ant and also be able to play off the catch and attack Rudy in space, hit your pick and pop threes, be able to help rebound. I think that Rui, if Rui has a 2023 Memphis series, LA wins the series in 5. If Rui can have a 2023 Memphis series, LA wins this series in 5. And I feel really, really good about that. Let's get another like spike, guys. Really appreciate it. See if we get 100 likes on the stream. Let's keep them coming. Keep the questions coming as well. And Minnesota. I mean, you guys kind of asked the same question. Minnesota, I think it's probably Nah or Nas. I think I said Randle, but I'm gonna switch it. I think it's Nah or Naz Reid, probably, because I think those are the two guys that really Naz Reid and Dante, honestly. Those three guys, if they can hold their own defensively and be able to consistently make catch and shoot threes and make decisions off the catch, that's one of the ways that this could be like a 6-7 game series. Because how LA is going to play defense, if Minnesota can't hit threes, and granted, they are a really good three-point shooting team. If Minnesota can't hit threes or can't make decisions, secondary decisions off of plays from Ant, then this is a really, really, really quick series, in my opinion. Who do I think is better, Rudy or PJ? I still lean PJ. I think PJ is the better defender. I think he's the more versatile offensive player, probably. I still lean PJ. I lean PJ still. Although I can definitely acknowledge that Rudy Hachimura has been playing really, really good basketball for a couple months now. Rudy's been awesome. Julius gets lost in the series because of his predictable play style. Yeah, like I said, like predictable play styles and predictable like tendencies against LeBron in a playoff series those just don't pan out well at all, in my opinion. Randle hitting 2 threes open. Randle hitting 2 threes opens up his game. The issue is Minnesota has no continuity collectively. They have a bunch of individually good players, but they just can't play together. Their offense just can get really into a drag. And that's another reason why I think it's like a 5-6 game series, because Minnesota down the stretch in the clutch, like their offense is bad. They can't beat zone for whatever the hell the reason is. It's 2025, guys. They might go zone on the Lakers a little bit too, actually. They can't beat zone. Their offense down the stretch just gets really, really stagnant. So, yeah, I kind of get the point there. Julius Randle, I'm not impressed with Randle. I've never been a big Randle guy to begin with. And like now Randle does offer some stuff that I think Cat didn't. I do think Randle provides some of the mismatch hunting that they needed and just a second creator that they needed last year, honestly. Like put Randle on last year's team in like the conference finals against Dallas, and maybe that series actually like goes in Minnesota's favor, because Cat just couldn't like attack mismatches consistently. And that was a big problem for Minnesota last playoffs. But Randle can attack mismatches. Randle can't provide the floor spacing that that Cat does. Sean, are you on playback? Like, do I have a playback channel, or am I I mean, I think you know I'm not on playback right now. Yes, I do have a playback channel. I am highly considering doing game one on playback. It would really have to be you guys say. If you guys really want me to do a playback stream, then we could potentially do that for game one. We could potentially do that for game one. Let's put a tweet out here. Get this out to some more people. Let's see. Fire off your questions in the chat, guys. I will make sure I get to as many of them as possible. But anyway, going back to kind of my film analysis, I think LA, one of the biggest keys, I think, to attacking their defense, to attacking Minnesota's defense, I think, is their ability to like, and this is something I think Luka thrives with. I think Braun can do it. Austin can do it. I think if you're able to get their guys, their perimeter, their primary defensive players, if you can get them in jail, that's going to open up a lot. Like I think with getting like a J-Mac in jail, it causes Rudy to cheat up a little bit more. Maybe the backside guys to rotate over a little bit harder than they might initially to help stop the ball. That was something that I also found on film. I was like, yeah, that's something that is potentially exploitable for LA in this series. Would I be surprised if LA ends up in the finals? No, not necessarily. I think this Lakers team has a chance of making a real shot of making it to the finals. Like I said, I view the Lakers as the second best team in the West. I think it's OKC, the Lakers, the Clippers, Golden State, Minnesota, and then probably Denver. And it's really only me giving respect to Jokic being the best player on the planet. But if we're being completely honest, like Houston might be better than Denver in all honesty. So no, it's not like crazy that I think they end up in the finals. Need some luck. You need some things to go your way, obviously, like any year. But I think it's a realistic. I think it's a semi-realistic outcome, actually. Especially if OKC gets bounced early. I'm not saying that happens, but if OKC loses early or loses in round 2 again to like a Clippers, who knows? Who knows what can happen from there? Who won the Bulls playing? Oh my God, the Heat killed the Bulls. Sheesh. Tyler Hero with 38. Giddey with 25 and Kobe White with 17. Dang, the Bulls got cooked. How do I see the Lakers ranked in the NBA? Overall, I think it's Boston, OKC, Cleveland, LA. That's what I had on the Hute Venue pod when I did the pod with my guy Tyler last week. I went Boston, OKC, Cleveland, Lakers, Clippers. That was my top 5. And then I think right after that, I think I went Golden State, Minnesota, Indiana, Denver, Houston. I think that's what I did. If you want a complete top 10. So, yeah, I think the Lakers are like the 4th best team in the league. They're one of the 5 best teams in the league for sure, in my opinion. Luka has to lock in. There's limited efficient ISO ball during the playoffs. I think Luka will be fine. I think Luka will be fine. I think Luka's game translates well to the playoffs, despite the fact that I saw a stupid video saying that Luka does not play playoff basketball. One of the 3 dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, like Luka's gonna be fine. Luka's the guy I don't worry about on this team. Like ever. Never worry about Luka Doncic. Feels silly to doubt the man in the playoffs at this point. He's actually a really efficient isolation scorer in the playoffs. 1.02 points per possession in playoffs last season on isolations. And 1.004 points per possession on ball screens. Like, Luka's fine. I am not worried about Luka the Don in the playoffs. He's super efficient in terms of his play type data and some of the important stuff that he's gonna do. My guy Tony, what's up? Tell the rest of the chat to hop in here. What are they doing? Damn, am I the only one seeing this series going to 6? That was my initial pick. I had Lakers at 6 initially. The more and more I spent like 2 hours almost watching film, and I just didn't like what I saw. Not name Anthony Edwards. Now, Rudy again is elite in drop, but there's just so many ways for LA to kind of counter the drop, and I'm more so viewing it as if the Lakers like do what they're supposed to do, then I don't think the drop's gonna bother them in terms of their counters to it, in terms of what they have in the playbook, and in terms of like just their spacing. I don't think it's gonna bother them, honestly. Although I did have Lakers at 6 at first. Well, what's your thought process on the series, Tony? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Ant's a problem though. I can still see Ant just going nuts for 2 games and LA not be able to do anything about it. I could still see that as a possibility. Have I been able to sell Tyler on the Lakers as a top 5 postseason team? I don't know if he outright changed it, but we did talk about it after the show. He was like, I might have underrated the Lakers a little bit. So, yeah. I'm just worried about Austin and Rui. I'm worried about Austin from the sense of, like I said, I could just see them like putting. I keep saying Jordan. I could see them putting Jaden McDaniels on Austin and trying to eliminate Austin, and Austin has a bad series. and we start overreacting. I can see that. Guys, I feel like I'm going to give this question to the end of time. Why am I not with Lakers Nation anymore? For one, I already explained this in a separate video. For two, I like what I'm doing right now. I love this. I love the opportunity to be able to create on my own, have my own platform, not report to anybody necessarily. No beef. And I already talked about this in a 30-minute video. And 30-minute podcast too that's separate. So there's I don't really want to address that anymore. And to further put this in the bed, we can also stop the get Trevor on thing. That's also probably not going to happen. So, anywho, back to the task at hand. Let's get back to the chat. Jay says, if the Lakers win the rebounding war, they'll win in 5. Yeah, because if they're able to win specifically, if they're able to win the boards or neutralize the boards while being small, that's the biggest key to this series being a 5-game series. Is the Lakers be able to play 20 minutes of Luka, Braun, AR, Rudy, and DFS and keep it relatively even with that group on the glass. If they could do that, they win this series in a pretty comfortable 5 games. Really, really comfortable 5 games. Will be fun to see AD and Christie against OKC. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Gobert will be a goner. LeBron and Rudy will double him all the time. Why are we doubling Rudy Gobert? I don't understand that one. Is 6'11", 240 Maxi Kleba considered a small ball 5? Yeah, it's a small ball 5. Not because of his height, but because of his play style. He would be a small ball 5. And Dante for me could cook Austin and Luka. Well, yeah, but that's why they're going to zone up. And yeah, you must be expecting Dante's going to play a lot. I don't think Dante's going to really cook them off the bounce. I think Dante will cook them more so in their off-ball stuff. I think that's the more likely route of Dante cooking us. Ant's legitimate, though. That would be Ant's legitimate. Again, Ant very possibly could just have a 35-point per game series. And maybe I'm starting to overrate Ant a little bit. I feel like I've been glazing him for an hour, or not an hour, 40 minutes almost. Let's get a like spike, guys. Try to hit 100 likes on the stream. Really appreciated. But yeah, Ant's awesome. So yeah, I would definitely be worried about him. What would be my ideal playoff path for the Lakers? So we pull up the bracket really fast. We pull up the bracket. You are okay. I think I see the vision. I think I see the vision, guys. Follow me here. Follow me here, chat. All right. I don't like that. All right, I'm gonna take the question off. See if that helps. All right, kind of helps. All right. OKC wins round 1. Denver wins round 1. Lakers win. I would rather face Houston in round 2. Actually, I think Golden State, they just have enough offensive firepower to make it interesting in round 2. Whereas Houston would just I think the way Houston beats Golden State is just by basically just bullying Golden State with their athleticism, essentially. And Amin Thompson making Steph's life hell for an entire series. That's the way I see Houston winning. So, okay, round 2, we got Golden State. We have Houston Lakers, Thunder Nuggets. Lakers win round 3. Lakers beat Houston. It'll be annoying. That'll be the most annoying series of the playoffs. But I think LA would win that in probably 5, maybe 6. And then Denver beats OKC. This might sound crazy. I think out of the 4 possible outcomes, OKC, Denver Clippers, and 8 seed, I think Denver is the weakest, considerably weakest team out of the bunch. And that's why I don't even think Denver wins round 1. But Denver can't guard a soul. Denver can't guard a soul. So if they make it there, okay, cool. Jokic is obviously the best player on the planet. Jokic is the problem. Jokic's gonna have a great series. JJ's shown the ability to game plan for Jokic. And Denver can't guard any of the Lakers players in space. They have not had a single above average to good defensive player all season. Aaron Gordon's still probably the better defensive player, but he's even kind of had a below average defensive season compared to the last 2 years. So, like, they just can't guard. And I think that would just be a series that is ultra high scoring, and LA wins that. I think any team that tries to outgun LA, I think LA has a decent shot against. Meaning, like, they can't defend. I don't think Denver beats the Clippers. I don't think Denver can guard LA. I don't think Denver can guard the Clippers at all. I think the Clippers win that series in 6. I think the Clippers win that series in 6. I think OKC sweeps whoever they play. I think I probably go Golden State in 7. I don't feel good about that. And then I'm going LA in 5 or 6. That's my West predictions. Let's see. If the Lakers zone up and take away all Ants looks, they still average 35. They're winning the series. Well, there's a couple keys to, like, taking away his looks, and I'll make sure I address that. Taking away his looks. I will address that in the film breakdown. But if anything, that means if Ant averages 35, that means that nobody else is scoring. So maybe glass that full approach right there on my part. Lakers in 5? Yeah, Lakers in 5 or 6. Superman, Batman, Ant-Man. Lakers in 5. Hey, Sean, what team do I think goes after Kevin Durant in the offseason? I think a Rockets team that loses round 1 just gives up the package to go get KD. That's what I think. There's not a lot of, like, good KD options. Dallas, if they get super desperate, maybe. Like, they re-sign Kyrie or extend Kyrie and then they go trade for KD. Maybe. But there's not a lot of, like, really good KD options, in my opinion. Spurs or Rockets, I would hate that for San Antonio. I feel like they would just be jumping the gun, personally. Maybe that's just me. Jackson, good to see you too, bro. Sean, it's good to see you. I love Dalton, but I think Ware would have been amazing for us. How do you think it would fit with the Luka-led Lakers? Fam. So, I don't know. I think we talked about this back in the during the draft process and on draft night even. As a matter of fact, if you guys remember, my pro comp, I think I did this in my, like, top 10 bigs video. I explained my pro comps for all these guys. My pro comp, my high-end comp for Khalil Ware was Miles Turner. He fits so perfectly with what the Lakers are currently trying to do. Khalil Ware is Khalil. Khalil Ware is a hooper. And I remember talking and analyzing the potential work ethic issues and the character, not even the character, it was a character, motor concerns. And I somewhat docked him for that in my grading. As soon as the Miami Heat of all teams took him, I immediately said, nope, okay, never mind. He's going to be a really, really good player. Clearly, that is not enough of an issue for the Miami Heat to draft him. And when he's played, he's been so good. They've been able to play him in double big looks with him and Bam, make Bam more of a 4, and let Khalil play. Oh, my God, Khalil Ware is really good. Sar's good, too. Where would have been my number 2 big in the class? I think I wear 3. I think I want to, like, grading Durant Holmes slightly higher. Let me see. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to really quickly pull up my draft board from last year. Okay. I completely forgot about Klingon. Okay, so my bigs, Sar 1, Klingon 2, Holmes 3, Ware 4. Although Holmes and Ware were like basically right next to each other. Then Zach Edey, then Yves Missi. That's a really good big class. You got 6. I mean, the jury's still out, I think, on Deron Holmes, especially post Achilles injury. But you got 6 starting caliber bigs in one draft class. That's a really, really, really good draft class for bigs. In a weak year for the NBA draft, that's a really good draft class. For sure, 5. Like, Sarr's a starter. Klingen's a long-term starter. Klingen might be the best one out of the class. Either Klingen or Ware. Klingen, Ware, or Sarr. Missi is at least going to be a starter temporarily for the next couple of years. And then Edey. Edey was the most impactful rookie, arguably, of the year, either him or Castle. So it's a really good year for bigs. Really good year for bigs in the draft. Hit that like button, guys. Almost there for 100 likes on the stream. Get those super chats in as well, guys. Great way to help out the channel. Edey would be nice if you can make a shot over a guard. What are your other biggest questions heading into this series? Game 1 on Saturday. Again, the more and more I talk about, the more and more I look at the film for this series, the more and more I feel really good about LA pulling this out. Despite the fact that Ant's absurd. And Rudy's an elite drop big. What time's the game on Saturday? 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Can the Lakers stay healthy with the physical Timberwolves team? I think so. I think so. I think the thing with LA is their smaller groups aren't small in size and physicality. I think they're just small in height. Not even. It's 6'5", 6'7", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Really 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 6'9". That's really the Lakers' centerless lineup. I think they'll be able to match the physicality fine. Braun's going to be a bully ballish more player. I think they'll be fine. Is Jackson serviceable this series? I've said this a little bit. If Jackson Hayes can provide you with good 18 and 20 minutes in this series, that's huge. The lob threat, the ability that when the Lakers are switching and they do get beat at the point of attack, you have Jackson Hayes behind you. You basically need that month and a half stretch that we had of Jackson Hayes being a legitimately a lower end starting caliber big. Right now he's kind of just playing a good backup. But if he can get back to be a legitimate starting caliber big for this series for 20 minutes, that's huge for LA. That's huge for LA. How well do I think we match up with the Rockets? I think the Rockets beat Golden State, by the way. I'm actually a little bit more concerned about the physicality against Houston because Houston's going to run double bigs, and they are absurd on the offensive glass when they go double big. So that's a series I'm a little bit more worried about in terms of physicality. And that's the most athletic team in the league, pound for pound. So I think LA will win that series. It would just, like I said, be the most annoying series of the entire playoffs. Thoughts on Jordan Goodwin on Goody on AMP potentially? Potentially. If Goody's playing, that's probably who I deploy him on. It's probably Ant. Not the same archetype, but Andrew Nembhard, I thought, did a really good job on Ant, for example. Jackson Hayes might be the most inconsistent player in the league. He either looks really good or is unplayable. Again, that month to a month and a half stretch for Jackson Hayes moves me. That was a great month. Would you rather have Lakers face the Wolves or Golden State in the first round? Golden State. No, Minnesota in round 1. I'm not all the way sold on Golden State being a great matchup for the Lakers, personally. If you had to face them, you had to face them. But I'm not all the way sold Golden State would have been a great matchup for them. And maybe that's just me. I know Laker fans hate when you say anybody's a bad matchup for them. But I wasn't sold on that being a really good matchup for the Lakers, personally. Let's see. Just judging by 80's body language, he'll probably be traded next year or so. What team would be a good fit for him? Can we talk about the Dallas situation actually really quickly? That is the biggest cluster F I've ever seen. Now there's reports saying that Nico didn't want to do the closed press conference or whatever. That he was mandated to do that by the owner. Is that legit? I think I saw that. on Twitter from some sort of a reputable source saying that that Nico didn't he didn't want the presser to happen. He was forced by ownership. This whole situation is just stupid. I hate the whole Suns is the biggest cluster F. At least the Suns didn't trade their generational 25-year-old talent and won't shut the F up about it. Dallas won't shut up talking about it. Let it die. It's like getting beat up in school, and then after a week, everybody stopped talking about you getting beat up, and then you just proceed to keep talking about you getting beat up. Hey, guys, remember when I got beat up? Dang, he punched me really, really hard. I'm still what, dude, what are you talking about it for? What are they talking about this for still? They are actively alienating the fan base with every waking quote. It's so dumb. It's so dumb, in my opinion. And then I think I hate the quote about him saying okay, defense wins championships, and we really, really believe in that philosophy or whatever. Because while yes, defense wins championships. Okay, guess what? You have Luka Doncic. Build the defense around Luka. It's not hard. You literally just went to the NBA Finals, and the one team that could somewhat exploit what you guys were doing was the Boston Celtics, and you just so happened to run into them. That's not Luka's fault. Boston had 1 through 5 switchable players Luka really wants this to mismatch on. Okay, Boston also has 1 through 5 that can attack switches and that can play off the catch and play off the dribble. That hurts Luka. So just build the effing team around Luka to where that is not an issue. Feel like he is actively running away from doing his responsibility as a general manager. Right. The Nuggets won a title with Jamal Murray as their starting point guard. Jokic, now granted, that was easily Jokic's best defensive season. They are not some great defenders. I hate how Dallas has handled this. And Luka was hurt. Luka was hurt the entire playoff run. He was hurt the entire playoff run. So, just do your job. I'm sorry. I hate when GMs just try to find bail. That's a bailout, dude. Quit being shitty at your job. Excuse my language, but quit being just bad at your job. What the hell? I don't get it. I'm trying to find a coaching comparison to that, but I can't. Somebody said that Dallas trading Luka is like the Suns trading Devin Booker after 2021. This is 3 times worse. Devin Booker is awesome, and also, yes, it would have made sense for them to trade Devin Booker after losing in the finals, but this is way worse than Phoenix potentially trading Devin Booker. Way worse. Not even close. Teddy Hart with a super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Once again, guys, super chats, guaranteed way to get your question answered live on the stream, and easily supports myself and the channel. So, Teddy Hart, really appreciate you saying the super chat. If Dallas collapses in the next couple of years, let's trade for Klay. In the next couple of years, let's trade for Klay. I don't care how old he is, shoot he has an age. I don't know if I'm trading for Klay in the next couple of years. If you're trading for Klay, you better trade for him in June or in July or whatever. I'm not trading for Klay in a couple of years. I'm not waiting for Dallas to implode if we want Klay. I honestly would have kind of saw the vision for Klay in the offseason. I think I actually kind of wanted it. I just didn't. Like, it was one of those, if it happens, okay, I'm not really, like, rushing for it, if that makes sense. I actually kind of have a soft spot for Klay. Sucks that this year didn't pan out for him. Next couple years, Klay will be a dinosaur. I mean, Steph isn't a good defender. He has 4 chips. They built a good defense around him, Draymond, Iggy, etc. Especially early Warriors titles. Like 15, 16, Steph was not a good defender. He's always been a smart team defender, but he was not a good defender in 15, 16, for sure. But they had, I almost said Wiggs. They had Iggy. They had Harrison. They had Draymond. Klay at this point he was an elite two-way player. Then you get KD eventually, and then when Steph started to put on some more muscle and more weight, then he became a much better defensive player. Steph, we're on the same page. Do I wish the Mark Williams trade actually happened? Yes and no. I think Mark Williams could have actually really helped you in some of these playoff series, but I don't really mind that it didn't happen because I still like Dalton Knecht, actually. I think Dalton Knecht, basically since that trade got rescinded, when he's gotten opportunity since then, he's actually looked pretty all right. He's actually looked pretty all right when he got opportunity. And now you have him and you have your draft capital to play with in the summer. So I think it's actually fine. I'm not tripping over not getting Mark Williams. I did see Mark Williams Q&A on Twitter. I did see that. What do I think of the Zion trade rumors? Indiana would be cool. I really don't think New Orleans should trade Zion. And the best way I could explain this, it's a very similar situation, in my opinion at least, to when Laker fans, not even the Laker fans actually, but the media and everybody was hyping up the idea of the Lakers trading AD back in 2022. And my whole thing was dog, you are selling unbelievably low on AD. And AD, all it's going to take is AD getting healthy and and he's going to get healthy and he's going to be a top 5 player and we're going to look stupid. And it's almost like that where Zion, whenever he's been healthy, and it has not been a lot, whenever Zion's been healthy, he's consistently shown he's a top 12 to 15 player on the planet, 10 to 12 player, honestly, on the planet. When Zion's healthy, he's a top 10 to 12 player on the planet. Just got to get him healthy, and injuries. I mean, he looks super in shape down the stretch too. So it's just bad luck, honestly. It's honestly just a lot of bad luck. So all it takes is you get that one season, that one full season and the playoffs where you get positive regression to the mean and he looks healthy and he oh shit, he's a top 12 player. Why would we think about trading him? I really hate him the idea of him getting traded because he's just going to go somewhere and be healthy for a full year. And I'm thinking from a team building aspect. As a Laker fan, I could give a F less what New Orleans wants to do. But from a team builder mindset, I hate the idea. I think it's very, very stupid. People never mentioned J. Kitty. Dog, Missoula coached circles. He coached laps. I'm not going to repeat the same thing you said. He coached laps around J. Kidd. I like J. Kidd. I actually think J. Kidd's really, really good. But this is the comparison I like. Nah, it's like the Cavs trading Braun after the 2007 finals. Shooters win championships or some BS or whatever. Huh? Yeah, I don't know. It's to this day, it'll never make sense. Is Klay hooping right now? Klay's going crazy. Is there a possibility in some series that JJ benches Vando and gives DK some burn? Vando's offense could be used against us while we may be able to hide DK. I can see the vision. I kind of got some flack for saying that I don't think Vando can play in this series. And like, no, dude, like he's the best option on Ant. I'm like, in a vacuum, maybe. But if Vando's on the floor, then you bet your ass that Rudy Gobert is gonna be on the floor. And the idea is to either space Rudy out or like, have some real threat as a lob threat. And Vando just doesn't do enough offensively that matters for the Lakers. Like Vando, okay, he's a solid screener, especially off ball. Lakers don't run a lot of like motiony stuff off ball for Vando. Okay, he's a solid connected playmaker, especially on like short roll stuff. That's not going to be an issue in this series because Minnesota's going to run a lot of drop. Maybe they'll like blitz Luka a little bit with Nas, but like expect a lot of drop. That's not really something that plays in the Vando's favor offensively. He's not a perimeter floor spacer at all. Can't dribble the ball worth anything, and can't finish through like an ounce of contact. So I don't really think Vando could play in this series. Backtrack. There's one and only one outcome where they can play Vando. It's if they go all three, like Austin, Braun, and Luka together. We haven't seen that trio a lot with Vando. It would have to be all three of them plus like DFS or something like that. Like another floor spacer. It can't be. We've seen a lot of Vando next to Luka or Vando next to Braun and no other like help or whatever. Can't do that. I would trade Rui and Vando in a first round pick for Zion. New Orleans hangs the phone up on you. Brooklyn should take a shot on trading for Zion. He gets to be in a big market, can repair his playing reputation in New York. What do you trade for if you're Brooklyn, though? Vando is an 82-game player, but coaches will lick their chops scheming him off the floor. Yeah. Like, people love to point to that Golden State series a lot in a positive way for Vando. The minute Golden State just said, all right, look, we're going to just run pick and rolls for Steph 40 times a game, it immediately nuked Vando's impact because Vando's not a good screen navigator. He's not a awful one. He's just not good. Like, Vando's thing is perimeter isolation, passing lane defense, and chasing stuff and denying the ball. Vando is not a screen navigator. I give Vando some weak side rim protection chops as well and just rebounding. All the efforts. Vando's good at everything defensively except screen navigation. And when guarding Steph, screen navigation, on-ball screen navigation, super important. So, what's changed for DK, or why do you think he hasn't popped off since the early game against Utah? Opportunity, honestly, is probably the biggest reason. I think, again, like I said, I think he's been fine. I actually think he's actually really, really good in the limited opportunities he's gotten post-deadline. He just has to be able to build on top of that. If Vando had a decent offensive game, he would be good. Dog, if Vando could do anything with the ball in his hands, he'd be good, honestly. Fire off any more questions, guys. Let's get some more people in here. Let's get another like spike. Hit that like button, guys. We're almost there at 100 likes. Be a friend, tell a friend. We're also nearing 15,000 subscribers here on the channel. Like I said, daily Lakers coverage here on the channel. Posted a video every day. You guys are the best. Like and sub. If Vando had a good offensive game, be good. Yeah, Vando could do like, if Vando could finish, he would at least be Derrick Jones Jr., but like somewhat better defensively. I think Vando's actually better than Derrick Jones Jr. defensively. I think that's fair. So yeah, if Vando could finish through contact at the rim, he would be like Derrick Jones Jr. without the insane athleticism. But like basically Derrick Jones Jr. If he could hit threes at a 35% clip, I don't even know what a good comp is at that point. I'm trying to think of some guys. But yeah, he just doesn't do anything well. And he doesn't do anything meaningful that matters to the Lakers offensively, which is unfortunate. Let's see. Pop off any other questions you guys have. And make sure you guys vote on the poll. 62% of the voters say the Lakers win this series in 4 or 5 games. I'm assuming that's 5. 37% say Lakers in 6 or 7. I'm assuming this is the lone Timberwolves fan that says the Timberwolves win in 6 or 7 games. Again, my pick is Lakers in 5. So Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Lakers in 5. I think, like I said, towards the top, and I'll kind of explain this again in my film breakdown, the Lakers present so many troubles for for Minnesota, that Minnesota immediately has to adjust to, specifically in terms of what lineups they have to put on the floor. Whereas I don't see the same for Minnesota. I think LA's biggest problems are more fixable. Like LA's biggest problems are going to be, can they rebound and can they honestly rebound and contain Ant. To a certain extent, you're not going to contain Ant anyway. Minnesota is just going to run into more functional problems from a tactical standpoint. They don't have the necessary playmaking I think that's going to take to try to pick apart the Lakers' half-court defense when it does get set. And I don't think Minnesota's clutch offense is good enough at all. Because I do actually think there'll be a lot of clutch games, eerily similar to the Minnesota-Dallas series last year. There's going to be a lot of clutch games in this series, I think. And that just immediately swings in the favor of the Lakers because we have LeBron, Luka, AR, and on top of the problems that we already said that Minnesota is trying to address. If the Lakers in the fantasy world had AD, Luka, Braun, and AR, do you think we win the chip this year hands down? Yeah. We have the best defensive player in the world, the best playoff defensive player on the planet, next to Luka, Braun, and AR. I don't know how much AD does offensively, except catch lobs. But yeah. Would I trade for Trey Murphy? I think the Lakers can get some leverage with his injury record. I don't think they're getting any leverage. I think if New Orleans is trading Zion, I think they're going to be hell bent on keeping Trey. I think Trey had a really good season to where Trey's value is going to be really, really high. You're damn near trading Austin if you want Trey Murphy. I'm not going to lie. Or trading all your other assets. So if Kyrie was healthy, Dallas would be a scary team to face. Dallas is good when they're healthy. The problem is they're not championship good, and they should have traded Luka. That's the problem there. Yeah, that's the problem with Dallas is they're really good when healthy. Why has Max only played 5 minutes? Jason Kidd, don't make us have to fight. Only playing Maximus Christie 5 minutes. How dare you? Oh yeah, Malik Monk is it back? Yeah. This is just tough. 44-19 second quarter. Sheesh. That's absurd. Do I have the Pistons over the Knicks, Sean? No, I ultimately went with Knicks in 7 or Knicks in 6, maybe even. Teddy Hart with a super chat, much appreciated. Sean, speaking of Bando, what other legit contenders have rotation guys who are complete inept offensively? Okay, so on Bando's level of ineptitude. That's the word. I don't think I just made up something on the fly. All right, so let's start with OKC. Completely inadequate. I don't know if OKC has one of those. The guy that first came to mind was unfortunately AC, but I think AC is a fine enough finisher, a capable catch and shoot threat. He's not good. Shooting 35% from 3 this year. Teams are going to live with AC shooting threes. He's a much better offensive player than Jared Vanderbilt, though. Even though he is probably pretty bad. Jalen Williams has played really well recently. So I don't know if I go Jalen. I think Jalen is he still does something for you at least. So I don't think there is anybody on that level on OKC. If we go to Houston, Complete negative. Out of their key rotation guys, no, they just don't have anybody you love. Deshaun Tate, yeah, Deshaun Tate he's not good. Deshaun Tate is not good. I don't know how much he's gonna play, but that may be the one guy. It's actually kind of funny you said Deshaun Tate. I actually kind of like that. All right, LA, we're already on the Lakers. Okay, let's move on. Clippers, Chris Dunn, easily Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn's easily the guy that comes to mind. Yeah, Chris Dunn's easily the guy that first pops into your head. He's like guard. He's guard version of Vando. That's kind of mean. But, yeah. He has it as bad on the inside. He just can't shoot worth anything. Did I say Maximus Crispy? I said Maximus Christie. I could see Aaron Nesmith on this team, to be honest. I wanted Aaron Nesmith so bad. The 2 days where it was somewhat a possibility that the Lakers get Aaron Nesmith were the happiest days of my life. Happiest days of my life. Chris Dunn will be the nod for the Clippers. If we go to Denver, would it be Payne Watson? Payne Watson's he's a better finisher than Vando. The easy answer is Russ. I know you guys hate Russ, but Russ is a good enough playmaker still. Russ does something for them offensively, where we're trying to find what Vando does at all. Worst defender, though, non-transit. Yeah. Payne Watson's probably the guy that comes to mind. Andrew, are you saying Andrew Nembhard? You want Andrew Nembhard on the Lakers? Or are you saying that Andrew Nembhard fulfills this criteria? Because that's insanely disrespectful to Andrew Nembhard. And then Minnesota. Minnesota does not have anybody this bad offensively. Do not say Jaden McDaniels, because Jaden McDaniels averaged 20 for a stretch this season. We're begging for Vando to provide anything for them offensively. Good save. Wait, what happened? Good save. I'm confused. Did I miss something? Or was it something I said? I'm scared. Did I say something bad? Oh, shit. I just got clipped. Oh, well. So, yeah, nobody really from Minnesota. Golden State. The first guy that comes to my mind is Gary Payne II, but Gary Payne II is a really good cutter, really good finisher, really good screener. What is testing my ball? What does Gui Santos do for Golden State? I don't think he's a playoff rotation guy, but what does Gui Santos do for Golden State? Did I say his name right? Is it Gui? I just don't know what he does. Rebound? I mean, I guess he rebounds. All right, I'll give it to him. Vando also rebounds, so something to say there. Memphis, nobody's this bad offensively. G, oh man, or OG. I'm funny. Sacramento, nobody that. Oh wait, we're talking about contenders. Out east, Isaac Okoro maybe, although Okoro's probably a better shooter than Vando, but that's the first guy that kind of comes to my mind. Ray's not very approving of my OG joke. Yeah, so basically, I don't think there's a legit contender that has a completely inept offensive player. Mitchell Robinson, okay. Josh Hart, no. Josh Hart can at least play make, is a capable three-point shooter. Good cutter, offensive rebounds, and the Knicks are contenders. The Knicks are frauds. Knicks are losing in 5 games in the second round to Boston. Hell, they might get swept by Boston if we're being for real. I respect Jalen Brunson too much to say that they get swept. As an OKC guy, Vander reminds me of Andre Roberson days. Ew. Are these the conversations we're in, chat, for Vando? He's in Andre Roberson talks? Rudy only dunks. What do you think about him being inept offensively? Offensive rebounder, at least. Elite offensive rebounder, actually. Andre Roberson talks are nasty. Damn, I wasn't aware that Vando was that bad. Sheesh. Vando or Jared. Ooh. Andre Vanderbilt. That's disgusting. Andre Roberson was literally bad at everything offensively, though. Like, he was bad at everything. Vando, at the very least, can short roll, play make, and screen, I guess. Bar set real low. Compare Jared Vanderbilt to Andre Roberson. 2K legend. Andre Roberson. As much as I hate the Celtics, they have a damn well-built team. Brad Stevens has changed that team for the better. It sucks that Brad Stevens went from being like a top 5 coach to a top 5 exec pretty seamlessly. That's annoying as hell. Like, the transition was flawless for Brad Stevens. Do I think Denver can upset OKC in the second round if it happens, Sean? I think it's a possibility, but it's a possibility similarly for the possibility of like having Braun in 2018. It's a possibility because like they're the best player on the planet by far. By far might be a stretch. Not even. Best player on the planet. But realistically, no. Again, I don't think they beat the Clippers. If the Clippers are able to stay healthy throughout the first round, I don't think they beat the Clippers. So, with that being said, they beat the Clippers is because Jokic is ridiculous. And then now you get to the part where it's okay, if they do get to OKC, nah, I don't see an avenue for them beating OKC. They don't have a guy that can guard Shea. They don't have any good defense in general. And then OKC could just go double big and it'll work. You could go iHeart on Jokic and Chet on like Aaron Gordon and be fine. Lou Dort, oh my God. Lou Dort's going to have Jamal Murray shit in a box. So you could go Shea on Christian Brown and J-Dub on Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, that's Thunder in 5, respectfully. That's Thunder in 5. And then even if the Thunder go smaller and go like Chet at the 5, J-Dub at the 4, Lou Dort, Kaysen, Shea. Okay, then it's Chet on Jokic, J-Dub on Aaron Gordon probably. Yeah, Lou Dort on yeah. It's Thunder in 5. That's not a close series. The one game they win, Jokic drops 76, 28, and 13, and they only win by 6. That will be 2023 Suns Nuggets, where the only way Phoenix won in that series is when KD and Book both dropped like 45 apiece. That would be this series. The only way Denver wins a game against OKC is if Lou Dort gets suspended for a game for a flagrant 2 foul, and Jamal Murray drops 50 and Jokic drops like a 35-point triple-double. It's the only way Denver wins more than one game. That's a really bad matchup for Denver. Now that OKC's healthy, that's Cristiano Felicio was worse than Vanderbilt. That's a pull. Shout out Ice Cold Ace. We're just like randomly naming bad, like really obscurely bad offensive players. Somebody said Thabo Cephalosha. I'm trying. Okay, let me see. Let me think. Shout out Bulls legend. Caruso on Murray, like the good old days. Like the good old days. Eric Snow. You guys are cooking right now, chat. You guys are cooking with grease. Careful, the stove might be too hot. Man. Yeah, I'm still thinking about like Golden State. I'm sorry, OKC, Denver. That's not a close series. Sterling Brown. With Cisco, we get the brand. We got the brand. Crisco. We got the brand stuff. Sean. Ronnie Turioff. Robert Sacre. Robert Sacre is the Larry Bird of Carlos Boozers. Jeez. Love that we're starting to build a community here on the channel too. That's really cool. Really, really cool, guys. Really appreciate you all and the support. Hope you guys tune in for the breakdown tomorrow. Really, really excited about that one, actually. Hashim to beat? What the hell? Let's go. You guys are cooking. Reggie Evans. Are we just at that point of the stream now? Or... That's funny. That's funny as hell. Pablo Prigioni. Luke Walton. Lakers legend Luke Walton. Respect. Sam Decker. Well, what 2K would that have been? Would that have been 2K16 with Harden on the cover? Was he in Houston 2015? Sam Decker? Sounds right. 2K legend Sam Decker. Respect Sam Decker. Mark Madsen. I thought Sam Decker could shoot a little bit. That's why I said 2K legend Sam Decker. Am I tripping? Could have swore Sam Decker was like, could at least shoot a catch and shoot three. Smush Parker. Theo Ratliff. Knicks legend Ron Baker. Let's go. Let's get a like spike for the obscure bad offensive player names we're getting. Let's go. Can we come back to this tweet? It's glorious. See? You let Twitter do the work for you sometimes. Pepe Sanchez. All right, guys. What are your final Lakers Wolves predictions? Greatest center ever named Nikola Pekovic. DJ Big. Final Lakers Wolves predictions. Fire them off in the chat. Final Lakers Wolves questions before we wrap up here, so I can go record this film breakdown and not be up till 2 a.m. Let's see. Let's get as many of these on screen as we can. Lakers in 6. If you guys have any reasonings, please feel free to provide your reasonings as well. Lakers in 6 from Ray. Lakers in 6 from Ali. Lakers in 5 from Battle Bar. What else you guys got? Ant will be forced to play make, and the baguette will be cooked. Lakers in this many. Lakers in 6. All right. Don't know why we couldn't just say the word. I'm joking. Lakers in Cinco de Mayo. I almost prefer the Lakers in emojis. We would like you to talk shop a Lakers fast break on YouTube. Fire content. Not opposed to it. Not opposed to it. Ben Wallace was dog on off. He was crap on offense, but he was a dog on defense. I mean, Ben Wallace is just like one of the 5 best defensive players of the past 20 years, so he gets a pass. But like, he's legitimately one of like the 5 best defensive players since 2000. Double Ant or let him have his. I think we'll see some soft doubling of Ant. I think they will zone up more so and just make Ant see a lot of bodies. And force Ant to be a decision maker, and then also force these other guys to hit catch and shoot threes, and then force these other guys to be able to make decisions off the catch, whether it's catching and attacking closeouts and making the one more, the extra pass. I I think that's what we see from LA, especially quarters 1 through 3. Maybe they'll double a little bit in the fourth quarter. I definitely don't think they'll double him just straight off rip. Like game 1, first quarter, we're seeing them double Ant. I don't think. I don't think that happens. The only thing that scares me is their athleticism. JJ talked about this in the turnovers earlier today in his presser after practice, saying, look, we got to make sure we take care of the ball. In their 2 December meetings, they had 20 turnovers in both of those 2 games. Now, granted, this is when the Lakers were arguably at rock bottom this season, and one of these games had LeBron, no AD. The other one had AD, no LeBron. I think that's how that worked. So take that how you will. One of them had AR, the other one didn't too. So, like, this was rock bottom. This is when they were really banged up. This is also when the team just sucked. And here we are. We're the 3 seed now. So, look at God. Who's going to be on Ant, Reeves or DFS? I think in the starting lineup, if we're going based off like solely on the starters, I think we'll see some combination of Rudy and Austin, although they're going to be switching a lot. So I think you'll expect a lot of Jackson Hayes on Ant a little bit. Expect some Braun on Ant in some small segments. Luka in some switches, and the funnel Ant into the help. I think DFS will probably check him when he comes in, although I could also see them just going DFS on Randle, honestly, as well. I hope we don't concede switches in Minnesota as counters, especially in a clutch. For the love of God, we do not have to concede a Luka Doncic switch in the last 4 minutes of the game. That's clearly what they want. Please, soft hedge, show, get back. Like, we do not need to be... We do not need to be conceding Anthony Edwards switches in the fourth quarter. So basically, team defense, sort of. Yeah. Like, and that's how the Lakers handle these guys anyway. If you look back how they guard Shea, same thing. How they guard Jokic, same kind of thing. This is how the Lakers play ISO heavy guards. And yeah, I expect this to be how they guard them in this series. All right. Unless you guys have any other questions, comments, we'll start to wrap up here. One last like spike. Let's see if we can get to 100 before we get out of here. And once again, guys, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications if you're new, so you don't miss any new videos. We're uploading videos every single day throughout this playoff run and going forward. Do we see Jordan Goodwin in this series? Potentially. I wouldn't count on it, but if there was a guy outside like the top 7 or 8, if you want to count Vando, that they go to, then I think it'd be Goodwin. I think it's Goodwin over Don Knecht for sure. It's like maybe like 5-10 minutes, you'll see Goodwin. Maybe. Let's see what we have here. Get some more guests on. I want to try to get another guest. Like we did I did the Jovan episode. Trying to get one more guest potentially before the matchup on Saturday. Good try. For sure, I'll have another guest on after game 1. But let's see. What do you think of Kleber's imminent return? If Kleber does come back, I think it could really help. I just don't know when he's coming back. Like, no timetable can mean he's back game 2, or you're looking at a Christian Wood situation. And with the Lakers' luck, you never know. You never know. Well, guys, that'll do it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure, once again, you hit that like button and subscribe here to the channel. Follow me on X/Twitter if you haven't already, at Sean_DAVI. Love you guys. Appreciate it. This was a ton of fun. We'll have to do it again here soon. Till next time, everybody. As always, go Lake Show. Catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Peace out.